Hey guys, so today I will be filling in a new 2020 Battlegrounds electoral map. So on your electoral map here, I have basically most of the solid, likely, and lean states filled in for both Trump and Biden. So the states that we've left, these are mainly the battleground states. There are some states like Iowa, Nevada, or New Hampshire that are not on the battlegrounds list column this time around. However, this is because today we'll be taking a look at the latest polls from Morning Consult. They have come out with a slew of new polls in every single gray state, and I think that's it'll be interesting to take a look at the kind of polls that they have come out and the numbers that they're showing for both Biden and Trump in basically almost every single competitive swing state. States like Nevada, Iowa are a little bit more solid for Trump and Biden, so these two states are not included. However, all of these gray states, they are pretty competitive states at this point, with the exception of some states in the Rust Belt, which right now are trending so much towards Joe Biden, but these states were Trump states in 2016, which is why they are still important to keep our eyes on. So before we get started, make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. The link is at the very top of the description below, and we're doing many events, contests, and giveaways there, so make sure you do not miss out on that. Again, the link is at the very top of the description below. And in addition to that, I have also launched channel memberships on this channel. For just 99 cents per month, you get access to some pretty sweet perks, so make sure you check those out if you are interested in getting some pretty sweet perks. Just click on that join button next to that subscribe button to learn more about my channel memberships. And so moving on to today's video, basically I will just be taking a look at the map, taking a look at the polls. So Morning Consult, they really don't have too much of a bias, just plus 0.2 for the Democratic Party on average, which is why I think that they really are unbiased, unlike most pollsters, less biased than many of the A+ rated pollsters on 538. However, first taking a look at the state of Arizona, Biden leads by 3.5% on average. However, according to the latest Morning Consult poll, Trump actually leads by 1%, which I do think is pretty surprising, but this is one of Trump's only states on this electoral map, so it's going to be a tilt state for the current president. It's 11 electoral votes for President Trump. Next is the state of Texas, 38 electoral votes. A state that, again, has not voted for a Democrat since 1976, since Jimmy Carter from the state of Georgia was able to flip the South. That was the last time that a Democrat was able to flip the South, besides Bill Clinton, who also did relatively well here in the southern region of the United States. But Jimmy Carter was really the last Democrat that was able to unite the South under the Democratic Party, and he was able to win the state of Texas for the final time. However, Texas in the last couple of decades has been trending, especially in the last decade, has been trending quite a bit to the left, and even if Trump was a better candidate, I would expect Texas to get even closer than it was in 2016, and I think that it's going to continue to get closer in 2024, 2028. It will be one of the most contested states. It is 38 electoral votes, and after the census, it is expected to grow all the way up to 41 electoral votes. And so currently in the state of Texas right now, Joe Biden leads in the latest Morning Consult poll by a margin of 1%. That is very significant. Joe Biden leads in Texas. That is a big deal. This is to say that President Trump cannot win the election without. In the state of Texas, I mean, taking a look at this, Joe Biden is already at 262 electoral votes. He is now just, I believe, 8 electoral votes away from winning the 2020 election. So this is a state that is very, very important for President Trump, and a state that he has to keep, hold on to. He really isn't spending too much money here. Joe Biden is outspending President Trump in the state of Texas, but Trump is pretty confident that he's going to carry this state. I'm confident that he's going to win it, but I think the margin is going to be excruciatingly small this time around for President Trump. The state of Minnesota right now, Joe Biden leads by 9%. This is a state that Clinton was only able to barely eke out a victory in, winning the state of Minnesota by just 1.5%. Things are completely different this time around in 2020. Joe Biden plus a whole 9% according to the latest Morning Consult poll. He has reached 50% on this poll and is at 50% on the statewide average. So the state of Minnesota is going to be a Biden state. That is going to be a very, very strong likely state for Joe Biden, a huge improvement from 2016. The state of Wisconsin, that's 10 electoral votes. This is another Trump state from 2016, a state in the Rust Belt. This was a state that had voted with the Democratic Party in every single election for 28 years before Trump flipped it in 2016, winning this state by the largest margin in the Rust Belt here, winning it by, I believe, 0.7% 4 years ago. So this is significant that Joe Biden right now leads by 12 points in the latest poll out of Wisconsin. That is a very, very large lead for the former vice president. 12 points plus 12 in the state of Wisconsin. I think we're definitely going to see some increasing numbers for Biden here in Wisconsin. This is definitely a big deal for Joe Biden. He's doing very, very well in Wisconsin and has really been doing very well in this state since the beginning of this campaign. As you can see, he's already crossed 270 electoral votes, even without the state of Wisconsin. So Texas really did it right there for President Trump. We also have the state of Michigan, that's 16 electoral votes. Taking a look at the Wolverine state here, Joe Biden plus 8% on average. He is at 50% again. Very, very good news. And then according to Morning Consult, Biden plus 8%, not as large as his Wisconsin margin. However, still, he is leading here. Trafalgar Group actually does put Biden behind Trump, but they are very biased right-leaning pollsters. So I wouldn't take this poll too seriously. Morning Consult, Biden plus 8%, so that's going to go into the likely column again for Joe Biden. So these states, Minnesota was tilt for Clinton in 2016. The rest of these three states were tilt for Trump in 2016, and now they are all likely states. And then finally, the state of Pennsylvania, Biden leads by 6.1% on average. According to the latest Morning Consult, Biden plus 9% as a whole, 9% in favor of Joe Biden, a 2,563 sample size, so it's pretty large. So Joe Biden is doing very well in Pennsylvania. That's 20 electoral votes. That is Joe Biden's birth state, and I think that really is a big deal how well Joe Biden is doing in a state that President Trump desperately needs. And I think that if President Trump is going to win his re-election, he must win Pennsylvania. There's no way he can get to 270 without this crucial state of Pennsylvania right now for President Trump. And then taking a look at the state of Ohio, Trump leads by 0.8% on average. However, according to Morning Consult, Trump plus 2%, which is actually a pretty good margin. Donald Trump's actually doing a little bit better here. Last time Biden led here was on the 20th of October, poll conducted from the 18th to the 19th. This poll conducted from the 11th to the 19th by Morning Consult shows Trump plus 2% here in the state of Ohio. So that is going to be a tilt state for President Trump. This is, I believe, the last state that is going to go to him. We have three more states, the states of North Carolina, Georgia, as well as the state of Florida. So first, taking a look at the state of North Carolina, this is 15 electoral votes. North Carolina is a pretty close state right now. I can honestly see it going both ways. However, according to the latest Morning Consult poll, Biden plus a whole 3% here in North Carolina's 15 electoral votes, and will be very crucial to a Biden victory. So North Carolina will not be a tilt state, but a lean state for Joe Biden. I think that on election night, it's definitely going to go down much more for Joe Biden, and we'll see if whether or not he will really be able to hold on to the state of North Carolina, which would be a pretty historic flip. The first time it has voted for a Democrat since 2008. The state of Georgia, that's 16 electoral votes. Biden plus 1% on average. He's at 47.5%. Really don't see him hitting 50%, which is why I still think that Trump has a huge possibility of winning this state. And then here we have the latest Morning Consult numbers, where there is currently an even race here in the state of Georgia. So that's an even race, 48 for both Biden and Trump. This is literally the closest that you can get. Georgia, honestly, was a state that I did not expect Trump to have to spend so much money defending. I mean, President Trump is spending a huge amount of money here in the state of Georgia. I mean, David Perdue is doing very well against is not doing very well against Jon Ossoff. And then his comments are how he called out Kamala Harris. That did not help him at all, I believe, in the state of Georgia. Kelly Loeffler, I think, will win her re-election. I think he's going to beat Doug Collins at the very end. But David Perdue, I'm really not too sure. Jon Ossoff is doing pretty well for a Democrat down there in Georgia. We're seeing more and more Democrats doing better and better in Georgia. And if Biden flips Georgia, I think that would be a significant step forward for the Democratic Party. So right now, there's an even race in the state of Georgia. So that's just going to be left there. That's 16 electoral votes in the toss-up column due to there being no apparent leader. And then finally, the last state on this electoral map, the state of Florida. That's 29 electoral votes, the third most populous state in the entire country besides California and Texas. 29 electoral votes. Biden plus 3.8 on average, and then according to the latest Morning Consult poll, this was probably the most surprising poll I'd seen out of all of these polls, where Biden leads by a margin of 7% over President Trump right here in Florida. This is a very, very significant margin. If he wins this by 7%, I can tell you right now, I can guarantee it, that Joe Biden cannot lose the election if he wins Florida by 7%. He does not even need Florida to win the election. So this is the final state on our battlegrounds electoral map, the state of Florida. That will be a likely state for Joe Biden. I believe 7%. Yep, 7%. So I'm going to put that into the lean column actually. So this is going to be 362 electoral votes for Joe Biden to 160 for President Trump. Joe Biden might even win the state of Georgia, which would put him up at 378, or Trump might win it, and that would put President Trump up at 176. And what's surprising about this map is how Arizona is in the Trump column, while Florida is polling in favor of Joe Biden by 7%, and Texas is also in the Biden column. So I don't think this is the most accurate pollster, but I do think that taking a look at all the numbers from one specific pollster, that's an all-right pollster, I think can definitely help us have a better vision on what's going to occur in just less than 2 weeks at this point in time. Morning Consult, I think, is an all-right pollster, BC graded, and they really have not too much of a mean reverted bias. So those are all good signs for Morning Consult, but it's surprising to see that Arizona is a Trump state, while Texas is a Biden state. These states have all been moving to the left, but Arizona has definitely moved to the left more than the state of Texas, in my opinion. But we did see a huge shift from 2012 to 2016, so we could definitely be wrong in that. Iowa, I'm surprised to see that they did not do a poll in Iowa, which is also a pretty close state, but they did decide to do one in, I believe, actually, I'm not sure. Okay, so they did not do one in Iowa, but they did do one in Ohio. It's 18 electoral votes, and Joe Biden is not doing as well as he was just a couple weeks ago in Ohio. I think Ohio right now is lost for Joe Biden, but we'll see what happens, because he can definitely take back his lead there. But as of right now, I'm calling it for President Trump. I would bet on Trump winning Ohio rather than Biden. And then these three Rust Belt states, probably the best news for Joe Biden. The only three states that he really needs Joe Biden with a likely margin in all three of those states: Wisconsin, Michigan, as well as the state of Pennsylvania. 10, 16, and 20 electoral votes. These three states are all pretty important to the Biden campaign. These are the three literally most important states, as these are the three states that had the highest chance of flipping blue this time around. These are all three states that Clinton lost in 2016 by less than 1%, and then the state of Minnesota, Clinton again won by 1.5%. Biden is doing much, much better here in the state of Minnesota than Clinton. Virginia also doesn't even need to be polled at this point in time. Virginia is just such a safe Democratic state, polled in favor of Joe Biden by almost 13%. And if you remember back during the Obama administration, or back in 2016, Hillary Clinton really did not do too well here. They expected to do very well in Virginia, considering that Tim Kaine was literally a former governor and senator from the state of Virginia, and they were expecting to do well there on election night. However, as election night progressed, you saw some pretty disappointing numbers for the Clinton campaign there in North Carolina. You also saw that she lost her lead in Florida. So really, election night 2016, it looked as if it was going to Clinton. But then after that, a lot of things changed. Trump was able to do much better than expected. I believe Clinton was actually losing in Virginia for quite a while before she was able to take on the lead after those northern counties voted and their votes were counted. So the state of Virginia is pretty interesting. Most of the North and almost all of the North used to be conservative and is now liberal. The South has stayed conservative. This used to be a Republican stronghold. However, now it is one of the closest states, and this time around I don't think it's going to be as close, but last time it was definitely one of the closer states in the election. Georgia, I'm surprised that there's no data there, not no data, but no clear winner. And I mean, I don't think Joe Biden's going to win it, but I think he definitely has a very, very good shot at that. And then the last state on this map, the state of Florida, that's 29 electoral votes. This is the state that Clinton did do all right in. I mean, for a second place finish, she lost the state by 1.2%, Joe Biden right now, as of right now, leads on average by 3.8% at 49%, so almost 50% in Florida. I think that is significant, and Florida is always very, very close, and although it does tend to vote Republican more, I can definitely see it going to Joe Biden. And so that is it for this video. This is our new updated 2020 Battlegrounds map according to the latest morning console poll out of every single Battleground state. So make sure you join our Discord server if you have not. The link at the very top of the description below. Again, we're doing many events, contests, and giveaways on there before the 2020 election. As well as that, make sure you consider joining my channel if you have not. Just click on the blue join button and you will see all the nice perks that you will gain access to. And so yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see all of you guys in the next video.